Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Minecraft. I hope you guys are all having a good day. I am doing pretty good myself. I just woke up, but I'm ready to record. So today's episode of Let's Play is going to be a little bit different. I know you guys like story time, so I have not told you guys all the stories of my life. I have basically barely scratched the surface. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different in the fact that I'm going to be telling you a story. In the background gameplay is just going to be random stuff that I'm doing throughout the world. It's not going to be any new stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, this story involves me being at camp, and I would say the age is probably 15 to 16. So every year I went to a camp with a bunch of my friends. The camp, I don't remember the name of the camp, but it was big on like Indiana Jones. Because they had like these caves, but they also had a lake. Camp was pretty fun. So we would go there for a couple weeks every summer. And, you know, as always, boys will be boys. But, as you know, whenever you go to camp, the first couple of days of going to camp are always very hectic. You know, you're finding out where your cabin's at. You're getting your job assignments because you're going to be, you know, sometimes you got to like serve food. Sometimes you got to like help out the camp. So that's what, you know, you figure out. Around day 5 or 6, you kind of get the hang of things and, you know, you're off doing your summer duties. Then you're doing your camp duties and, you know, having fun with all your friends. And that's awesome. And, you know, meeting the girls at the camp and stuff like that. So my friends are kind of a bad breed of friends, I would say, in the fact that they like to do bad things. And what I mean by bad things is they like to sneak out. So one of the absolutely most like important rules of camp is you're not allowed to sneak out of your cabin. And they had monitors that would like stay up for like 2 hours after we went to bed to make sure that we would stay in our cabins. Well, the first night we snuck out, we egged the main counselor's house. That was pretty fun actually, because that was an adventure. When we snuck out, our cabin was like when you go to your camp, most of the cabins are in a line, and ours was at the very end, right? So we had to sneak out, but we didn't have any eggs because like, well, we didn't have like a refrigerator, so we had to go over to the food place, like the mess hall. And once we got there, we had to figure out how to get eggs from that place. So we had to break into the mess hall just to get these eggs. We got like 3 eggs. And we got everything put back together, you know, because we basically took the window apart. Like, we had to climb in through the window. And we got like 3 or 4 eggs. So we came back, put the window together, and then we left. And so this night was, you know, pretty fun. We egged it. The people, they saw the eggs and they were not happy. Like, the morning announcements that came past were like, "Dear campers, if you egg us again, we'll be mad." I'm not exactly sure what the exact thing was, but, so the next time we snuck out was actually a couple days later. And that was because of the weekend. When the weekend comes, the council, or not the counselors, but like the monitors outside of your room, they stay outside for like 4 hours. So if we would have snuck out, it would have been like 3 or 4 in the morning. And the weekend is like super fun anyways, because you don't really have to do anything. Like, we would go swimming in the lake, and then we would go back to, they had like this common area. And the common area had like these giant TVs, which were awesome. They had like 3 pool tables. It was air conditioned. And it was like, the snacks weren't free, but there was like vending machines, and like we always brought money, you know. So the common area was awesome. The common area was also where you talk to the girls. Now, Jevin, being the sexy mug that he is, a 16-year-old, he liked to talk to girls. There was one girl in particular, and her name was Veronica. And Veronica was as sexy as a 16-year-old could get. She was almost a 17-year-old. So Veronica, she lived on the other side in the cabins, because the boys were on one side and the girls were on the other. Obviously, they would never let boys and girls bunk together. So we were talking to them one night, and we're like, yeah, we snuck out the other night and egged the counselor's house. She's like, oh my god, that was you guys? That's so cool. And we're like, yeah, we know, player. You know how we do. You know how we do. Anyways, so, you know, like on the weekends we would talk to them and stuff, and it was cool. So the week comes up, and you know we're doing all our regular duties, and I run into Veronica in the I guess I guess it would be called the kitchen. I can't remember what the food place was called. I guess it would be kitchen, mess hall, something. I'm gonna call it mess hall because that's typically what people call it. So I run into Veronica at the mess hall, and she's eating with her girls. You know, she's got like 3 girls that she bunks with, which were all hot at the same time too. So I walk up to them and say, hey. And they're like, we're thinking about sneaking out on Saturday night. It's going to be like super late, like 4 in the morning. Because of how late the monitors stay out. So I'm like, all right, let me talk to my boys. You know, we'll arrange something. You know, a little rendezvous. So I talked to my boys in my camp, my friends. You know, like these are the guys. And when I say my boys, these aren't just like random guys that I got bunked with. These are guys that I grew up with. Like, and I don't know if I ever said their names or not. One is Corey, one is Duncan, one is Philip, and one is Robert. And we all 5 went to camp every year. And like, and just a backstory on those guys. I've known them since I've been about 4, and we're all friends to this day. So I've been friends for plus 20 years, and I've known them for a super long time. So we thought that it wasn't a good idea to sneak out because we, even though it was summertime, the camp got really cold because it was like it wasn't like in the forest, but it was like on the edge of the forest. And if you've ever been camping or, you know, like done anything near woods, it gets really cold at nighttime. So we told them that we should wait till the end of the week on Friday and sneak out instead, because Friday is like the day everything is popping. You know what I'm saying? So we talked to the girls through the week, and they're like, okay, Friday it is. Friday it is. We yet haven't decided what we're going to be doing. So Friday comes, and we sneak out. And we had to like ninja our way out because they already thought that it was us who egged the place. They had our stuff on lockdown, dude. So yeah, like the guard would come by our cabin like 2 or 3 times every hour instead of once like every other cabin. I don't know how they ever figured out that or suspected it was us, because we got back in our cabin. I don't know, maybe somebody saw us or something. Anyways, so we sneak out one at a time to make it look, you know, because we saw like a light on. Ooh. And then like then when lights go out, which was like, I want to say it was like 9 or 10 p.m. So lights go out, and they're like checking, like, you know, walking around making sure nobody's sneaking out. So the game plan was, when the lights go out, we would watch the monitor walk by, and then we would jump out the window and run and hide behind the trees, which were like probably 20 feet away from our cabin. And we would do this one at a time because we knew that they were coming back really fast. So eventually, it takes us a little bit of time, probably 20 to 30 minutes. Because, I mean, our side of the cabins was a short walk. So the monitor could, like, you know, walk a circle around the cabins in, like, probably 5 to 10 minutes. So he's checking. He doesn't catch us, so we take the woods because there's paths back there for, like, hiking. And they just happen to kind of meet up where the girls' cabin is, which is lucky. You know what I'm saying? So we meet up with the girls. They snuck out, and they're like, what should we do? And so we're like, all right, let's just walk around for now. So we go in the opposite direction of the camp. That way nobody sees us. So we end up walking towards the lake, and we're chilling out by the lake. And Robert, my friend, has the idea to tell the girls that he wants to go skinny dipping. Now, be in mind that nudity underage is very illegal. Very illegal. So, like, we're all underage. Like, we're all 16 and 17. I guess it isn't that bad if you're all underage, but if there's, like, an adult there, that adult is, like, fucked big time. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, The first girl was like, no, you get to see us, and that's awesome, and we get to see you, and that's gross. So after some convincing, like 2 of the girls were in, and then all the guys, obviously. So the game plan was, you know, we wanted to go skinny dipping, but the girls were nervous. So we said, we'll go hide in the woods. Whoever wants to go skinny dipping, you know, get butt naked, and then go into the water, and we'll meet you there. So we go into the woods. The girls and all the girls ended up going, and there was 4 girls and 5 guys. So they go into the water, and then we, you know, we're covering up our junk with our hands, and we go into the water, and it's a good time. You know, we're just laughing, having fun. Nothing really seriously happened. So this is where things get a little bit interesting. This is where it gets a little bit weird. So one of the camp, like, I don't know what they're like. I guess they're called the monitors, where they walk around. Thought he heard a noise down by the lake, like he heard splashing. We were being kind of loud. So he comes down, and like, it's like, if you've ever been to a lake at nighttime, it's really, really hard to see into the water. So we kind of duck our heads below a little bit, and he doesn't see us, thank God. But what he does see is our clothes. That's not good. Not good at all, people. Not good at all. So he picks them up and fucking takes them. So at this point, there's 9 of us. We're butt-ass naked, and we have no clothes. But on the bright side, the girls were able to cover up. Now, here's the problem. The girls' cabin was closer, like a hell of a lot closer. So here's what we did. The guys formed a circle around the girls, walking forward, and they were able to get to their cabin safely. Girls priority first, obviously. They're females. Guys don't care about being naked. Women do. So we helped the girls get back to their cabin. They were able to get there nicely. Everything was cool. This is when things get a little sketchy. So we are on the trails back to the cabin, you know, tucking, because we don't want our wieners flopping around. That'd be kind of weird. And at this point, the guy who caught... But okay, I should give you the timeline first. We got the girls back to the cabin after the guy found the clothes. It was probably 5 minutes. We moved fast because we didn't want him to come back and be like, I found these clothes here, but there's nobody here. So they're going to start checking bunks and stuff, you know? So by the time we get like halfway through the trails, we can see them because you can kind of see through the woods. And so we weren't sure what to do. So we kind of just stood in the woods for a little while and listened to them. And they couldn't figure out who the clothes belonged to. But they have like 9 guards out there. So it was like impossible to get back into our cabin. So we had the idea to create a diversion. You know, because we're kids and we're awesome. Water break. Okay. So the diversion was going to be we found this large rock, right? And like one of the biggest attractions of this camp is the fact that the caves, if you were to leave the main counselor's house, you could literally walk 20 or 30 feet, hit the trail, and then the trail leads right into the caves. The caves have this weird echo. So what we decided to do was pick up a rock and throw it into the cave. So they would think we were in there. They would all go rushing in, and then we would hop back in. So here's how this went down. We planned it as to where they were walking around, and we get down there, and we throw the rock, and it makes like this loud thud. And they're like, what was that? What was that? And they go running down there. Everything is working fine. So I'm in the very back of the group. And I'm kind of looking out, and all my friends kind of get into the cabin. 3 of them are in there. Me and another friend are still getting in. I kind of basically just push his ass through the window. Because not through the broken window, but through the open window so he could get in. By the time he got in, I was the last one outside. And at that moment, 2 things happened very, very badly at one time. The camp counselor monitor guys started coming back. So if they were to look in our direction, they would see me. Number 2, the main counselor's light came on, and he came out. So he's about 6 cabins away because we're at the end. So I'm in pretty bad shape right now. I can't really jump through the window in time. I basically just had to fucking book it. So I just, I had to run because there was like no other option. If I would have jumped through the window, they would have seen my feet or something. Like, no doubt. They would have heard us shutting the window. So I ran, they shut the window, and I was hiding behind a tree naked. And this is where things get a little bad. So they're looking around. They don't see anything. They didn't suspect any of my friends because they didn't, like, knock on the doors or anything. But they're like, well, maybe we should search the woods just in case. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe we shouldn't search the woods. That's a bad idea. So I try to like move out of the way, and they're like, what's that noise? And they heard me step on like a stick and it broke. Oh, fuck. So I'm thinking to myself, oh yes, this is where things get really bad. Yeah, they caught me. I was naked in the woods. All I had covering up my wiener and, you know, my twig and berries was my hands. So the first thing they say to me is, why are you naked? And my response is, because I didn't want to sell out my friends, I was hot. And they're like, right, okay, we totally believe that. Yeah, I got in a lot of trouble. And when I say a lot of trouble, I got expelled from camp the next day. I had to walk in front of like, okay, I should go back a bit. When they caught me, people started coming out of their cabins, right? So like, a couple of the boys and then some of the teachers or like the camp counselors came out. All the girls were on the other side, so they didn't know what was going on. Thank God. But I kind of had to do this walk of shame, like about 40 feet from the woods to the camp counselor's main house, where I basically just held my balls and did the walk of shame. And it was, to everybody else, it was pretty hilarious. To me, it was kind of embarrassing, but I took it like a champ. When they got me in there, they yelled and yelled and yelled, and I just wanted to laugh so hard. It was a camp. I didn't really give a crap if I got expelled or not. But so the next day they call my parents and they're like, your son was caught naked in the woods at 4 a.m. last night, sir. And my dad's like, so he had a good time. And I just started cracking up so much. And the camp counselor goes, this is not something to joke about. This could have been serious. And my dad's like, okay, I'll come get him. Yeah, that was an interesting car ride home. Maybe that's another story. I'll tell you guys that some other time. But that is my story of getting caught butt-ass naked outside at 4 a.m. because we wanted to skinny dip with some 16-year-old girls. But it was worth it, because I think I got to saw some side boob. I don't remember, but I think there was side boob included. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. Thank you all for watching. This is iJevin.